Fight Fiend Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host, back for another show, another Dana White's Contender Series, and it's week number 8. So let's get after it. It is time to see if there's any dogs barking. My dog is ready to go for this show. He must expect an underdog to win this week. What do you think, Benson? Week number 8, is there an underdog coming through? Well, is there money to be made on this card? Is there any plus money underdogs sitting there ready to win? What? Maybe. First fight of the night is a Canadian, Christien Savoie, 10-1-1 versus Jacobe Smith, 8-0, undefeated. Jacobe Smith is a very credible prospect, undefeated, and a very good wrestler. He was at Oklahoma State. He was a very good wrestler in university, and I think Christien Savoie is going to have a problem on the ground with the wrestling of Jacobe Smith. But this is a fist fight, and this is my Canadian Christien Savoie from St. John, New Brunswick. Not too far from me, just a couple hours away. Benson, you need to get out of the way. And he's a dog. Christien Savoie is a dog. He is durable. He will push forward, and he will fight for his contract. Christien Savoie just won the belt at the FLA, which many of yous are like, what is the FLA? It's a fight organization, which is now pro in the Maritimes of Canada. So New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and there's a lot of Prince Edward Island fighters too, which is where I'm from. So if I'm going to be a mixed martial artist, I'm going to the FLA. And this guy is the champion of the welterweight division, Christien Savoie. He is tough. He is durable. He has a lot of knockouts. That would be his path to victory. But on the ground, Jacobe Smith is such a good wrestler. He's been to university, big-time wrestling, like Division I. He's been a champion. One of the biggest prospects that we're going to see at Dana White's Contender Series. He's undefeated. He has knockout power. Jacobe Smith, all of his knockouts in round 1. Deadly power. Incredible wrestling. Like, the best wrestling on this card. You see Torrez, Finney, but this guy has way better wrestling, more credible wrestling than Torrez, Finney. He's going to be bet on by a lot of people, but that doesn't matter to me. I have to go with the Canadian. The boys are going to be mad if I don't take Buddy from St. John, New Brunswick, just 4 hours away from me. He's fighting at the FLA, which is where I would be fighting if I was going to be a mixed martial artist. But I'm not. I'm predicting fights. This guy fights pretty close to me. He has fought at some other organizations as well before the FLA. So he does have some credible experience, Christien Savoie. 10-1-1. He lost to Basil Hafez. Round 1, arm triangle choke at CFFC. That was before going to the FLA and having a fight go to a draw, to a 3-1 opponent. But then he knocked out his next 2 opponents. His last fight, it was in round 4. Championship rounds, 4-0 undefeated fighter. Knocked him out. And then he got the call for the Contender Series. He called out Dana. He wanted a chance. This is it. When he went pro, his first couple fights, not the most credible competition, but he's getting it done. He's my Canadian. You see a lot of round 1 knockouts for him. A couple knockouts. Well, only 1 knockout in round 2, and then the other knockout that went late was round 4. So he can get the knockout late. The power is extended for Jacobe Smith. It's all round 1 knockouts for him. So maybe round 2, 3, Christien Savoie can land that shot if he's not getting out-wrestled significantly in this fight, because Basil Hafez got the submission win, had success on the ground to an extent. And then after that, he went to a draw with a 3-1 opponent. Yeah, he has some holes in his game. The Canadian fighters have not been doing very good on Dana White's Contender Series, but this is my lowest confident pick on the entire card. I can't even be giving this out as a pick, let's be honest. This Canadian is going to have a very tough time with the wrestling of Jacobe Smith. Jacobe Smith is probably the rightful side, the rightful favorite, and is going to either knock out Christien Savoie in round 1 because he's just better, or beat him by a decision with the wrestling because Christien Savoie is tough, is durable, and he's going to fight for his contract. He won't give up. He's a dog. He reminds me of like a Jean Silva. So let's see how he can do. My Canadian, I'm not going with the reverse psychology. There is one Canadian that is going to win on Dana White's Contender Series. Not one has won yet. I think this might be the guy. Christien, Tiger Savoie. 10-1-1. Fought Basil Hafez. I mean, he has knockout power. He's durable. He can take the fight late, get the knockout. Has a couple decision wins, too. Has fought some pretty high-caliber guys. I like what I'm seeing from both guys. Jacobe Smith, let's be honest. If you're picking him to win, you're probably safe. This is my least confident pick. Come on, it's a Canadian fighter. Can't go against him. It's Dana White's Contender Series. If you think I give a shit about my pick percentage, at this point I don't. It's week 8. It's been hit or miss with the picks. We're looking just to have fun. Give out some free content. Make some entertaining breakdowns from these low-caliber fighters. Both guys have not fought very high-caliber fighters. They're both still green. Anything can happen. I'm sure Savoie is going to be a pretty big underdog, and it's one that I'm not even going to bet. So that's how low confidence I am in the pick in Christien Savoie. I'm just picking him because he lives 4 hours away. He's from St. John, New Brunswick. I'm from Prince Edward Island. Pretty damn close. He fights at the FLA, which is where I would have to fight if I was a mixed martial artist. Gotta go with him. I just have a feeling I have to go with him. If not, I could be paying the consequences. One of my buddies is from St. John. He'd be pissed if I didn't take Christien Savoie. On to the next fight. Everybody's taking Torrez Finney. And Torrez Finney has wrestling. Not just big knockout power. He also got a submission in his first Dana White Contender Series fight. Very good fighter, Torrez Finney. He has a chance to win 3 times on Dana White's Contender Series. But is he going to do it? I feel like everybody's going to be picking him to win. They're going to be betting him pretty heavily too. So I'm not actually as confident as I first was when I posted my platinum picks for Patreon. He's 90% confidence right now, I'm telling you. He's going under 80%. And you're probably thinking, are you serious? I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. We've seen Torrez Finney get hit. His striking defense is not the best. You know, Yuri Penfurov found a knockout opportunity, couldn't capitalize. Now, ended up getting submitted. I'm picking Torrez Finney to win with a submission. I don't think he's getting the KO. He still has to work on those hands. The hands of Abdellah Er-Ramy might be better. 7-1, has a bunch of knockout finishes, but level of competition, 3-8, 12-7. 5-1 in his last fight, not too bad. Has been pretty inaccurate. Not inaccurate, but inactive. He's probably going to be inaccurate as well. Torrez Finney's short, powerful, explosive. Er-Ramy, he is solely going to look for the knockout shot. Now, he can get it. Like I said, Torrez Finney, his striking defense, sus, questionable. He needs to work on it. He's going to have to look for a takedown in this fight, in my opinion, and a submission if he wants to win. On the other side, this underdog, Er-Ramy, if he is a big underdog, I'm just saying, if he is a big underdog, maybe look at that knockout prop for him to win. Torrez Finney, I just have a feeling his knockout power might not win him the fight. He'll have to mix it up. He's not just going to be the clear favorite, going to walk through this fighter. Er-Ramy might have been training with Topuria. You know what I'm saying? He does train at a good gym. By the looks of it, he does have knockout power and very good explosive hands. As long as he doesn't get hit, taken down, on the feet, Er-Ramy might be the better striker, and I'm going to give him credit. I don't care if he's an underdog. I don't care if 90% of people are taking Torrez Finney. I got to stop being biased with these goddamn predictions, and I got to capitalize. Dana White's Contender Series, if this line is wide, I have no clue what the odds are. I am not only probably going to bet this, I will bet this, the underdog, Er-Ramy by KO against Torrez Finney, and I will bet Torrez Finney by submission. It's going one of 2 ways. I expect this fight to end inside of the distance because Er-Ramy has 1 loss. He's not undefeated. He's been finished before, and that was by knockout punch in round 1 within 2 minutes. But it was his second fight pro. Tough to discredit him after that. We've seen a lot of canceled fights. He was supposed to fight
Simeon Powell
at PFL and Bellator. Got canceled twice. Not really sure what's going on there. Couple canceled fights here throughout his entire pro career. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 canceled fights. Torrez Finney making his third appearance on the Contender Series. Has to be the side, but everybody's going to look at that knockout prop. Everybody on Tapology is thinking it's going to be a knockout. You look at his finishes, 6 knockouts, 1 submission, 2 decisions. Now, the submission win was on Dana White's Contender Series the first time when he was supposed to get the contract. This time when he gets the contract, let's see him get a submission win. Let's find some plus money on this fight because I expect Torrez Finney to be a massive favorite. If he loses, you already know I'm betting Er-Ramy by KO. This guy has hands, he's powerful, and he's no bum. Sometimes I write fighters off. Probably shouldn't. It has not done me any good. Has not made me very profitable. These underdogs have been cashing in on Dana White's Contender Series. Anything is possible. They are a punch away from winning at any point in the fight. Benson's ready to go this week. That's an indication one of these underdogs is coming through for a win, for a contract. This is a big moment for these fighters. I respect all of them stepping up and taking the fight. It's nice and early here Sunday, cooking up these predictions early, and I got no reason to go too heavy or go into depth with this fight here. David Martinez, Xavier Franklin. I looked up Franklin on Instagram, couldn't find nothing. Couldn't find nothing. Maybe I was looking at the wrong username, but I could not find anything on Xavier Franklin. 5-0, very green. Fighting a 10-1 opponent, David Martinez with knockout power. Knockout power, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus Christ. The Mexican is motivated. With the knockout power, I think he could land it. He knocked out a 5-1 opponent, 23-9 opponent, 2-0 opponent, 14-7. He's on a run. Knocked out his last 4 opponents. On the feet, he's going to be fast. 5'5", might have a small reach, but he's quick. Super fast. Xavier Franklin, he probably has more power. Knocked out a guy 8-2 2 months ago, but then took a guy 4-2 to a decision. Where's the knockout power there? He submitted a guy 1-0 before that. 4-3 knockout win. Not the most credible wins for this guy. 5-0, still fairly green. I'm not going too into depth in this pick. It's David Martinez, the Mexican for me. It's probably a knockout. If not, it's a decision. He's probably safe to play in the money line. I just don't think Xavier Franklin is that experienced yet. He hasn't fought the same caliber of competition. 10-1 is a tough opponent. It's a tough step up in competition. It's going to be a tough fight in front of Dana White. Maybe he can get it done, but I expect this fight to be priced fairly close. People to be split on the picks 50-50, although 80% of Tapology is on David Martinez. We could see Martinez open up as a big favorite. 3-1 maybe. Maybe Franklin comes in at plus 140. At the end of the day, I don't think he's getting his hand raised. He's 5-0, fairly green. But with how confident I am in David Martinez, still questionable if I will bet it or do anything with it, because Xavier Franklin could just show up and continue to go undefeated. Hard to say. There's not much tape on Xavier Franklin. There's not much anything on him. I couldn't find his Instagram. That's probably not a good sign. Can't pick him to win. 80% of people likely on the right side here. The Mexican, David Martinez, looking for the win in front of Dana White. On to the next fight. I don't have to break down each and every fight into depth. I'm just giving you my pick, my prediction, how I see it going down. Martinez and Franklin both have knockout power. Franklin can mix it up, get a submission, but low caliber competition. Martinez on the feet, knocked out his last 4 opponents. Pretty high caliber guys as well. You got to expect that trend to continue. Now, the next fight is my most confident pick on the entire card. I thought Torrez Finney was going to be the guy, but Er-Ramy has that knockout power. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to play it safe. Alberto Montes versus Carlos Calderon is certainly the most confident pick on the entire event. What's Tapology thinking? 96%. I might look like a Mr. Obvious here. Montes is good. Likely going to get the submission win. 85% think he is locking that up. Now, decision loss recently, a year ago, for Calderon. A submission loss to a 3-1 opponent almost 2 years ago for Calderon. He's Training in Colorado, elevation fight team. His cardio's pretty good, but his takedown defense, submission defense, probably not. Probably not. Has a couple submission wins of his own. His last 2 wins come by submission. Calderon, 3-2 opponent, and 4-3 opponent. This guy's going to the UFC for sure. This guy is the guy. You heard me. He submitted a guy 4-3 and 3-2. This guy could actually be a champion. I might actually switch my pick to Carlos Calderon. His level of competition, his wins are incredible. 4-3, and 3 months ago, 3-2. He is dominating his opposition. I can't believe he's beating guys that good. Curtis Ellis, what a win! Holy, wow! Honestly, sign him now. I can't believe he's even on the Contender Series. How is Carlos Calderon having to fight on Dana White's Contender Series? I am so stumbled on this. He's a true prospect, 6-2. Lost 2 fights a year ago, and then won a fight to a 4-3 opponent and a 3-2 opponent 3 months ago, and gets the call here. Wow. Wow, what are we even doing here? Alberto Montes is probably a promise bet. His nickname is The Promise. He's 9-1, fighting a 6-2 opponent who lost 2 fights recently. Won by submission. Alberto Montes can get a submission win as well. Level of competition, it's not 3-2 and 4-3. It's fucking 10-4. He's way better. Way better. 5-1. Like, levels above. Levels above. This should not be a fight, in my opinion. 96%, 100% correct. Montes is going to run through this guy. He has been knocked out 2 years ago, but Calderon, I don't trust him and his striking whatsoever. I don't even trust him to show up and take the fight, let's be honest. A submission win to an 8-2 opponent before the knockout loss almost 4 years ago for Alberto Montes. He's not the most active fighter, but he's 30 years old, probably waiting for a big spot, a big signing, a big call to the UFC. You know, he's trained at the Goat Shed, very credible gym. Elevation fight team for Carlos Calderon is very good as well. But I got to trust in the Goat Shed actually in this fight. This guy has a lot of spinning attempts with his kicks. He has power on the feet as well. You can't just count out him on the feet. I think he will be the better striker if it has to go there, and the submission ability cancels each other out. But on the ground, where I expect this fight to land at some point, Alberto Montes will lock up that submission. 85% on Tapology picking him by sub. 96% picking him to win. It's an obvious pick. Calderon can't be very good at all. He doesn't have much following compared to Alberto Montes from Venezuela on Instagram. Kind of have to trust in this big favorite, who I expect to open up at 4-1, 3-1. If we can get anything half decent, we better go heavy because he should be a clear pick for week number 8. Most confident pick for me, it's 90%. Torrez Finney is going back down to 80% probably. So there's my most confident pick, the Venezuelan, who's going to be as deadly as a venom once he gets on the back, starts attacking the submissions on Carlos Calderon. Can't wait. It's probably going to be a submission. It has to be a submission. I personally don't see it going down any other way. Calderon probably going to look for a submission of his own, get reversed, get caught, and Montes is just levels above him. On the feet too, the spinning kicks of Montes are pretty nice. It could set up the submission or even knock out Calderon. Clear win for the Venezuelan, who's going to be as deadly as a venom. Don't forget that. He's going to be deadly as fuck. He could be good inside the UFC too. That's another guy, Alberto Montes. If he wins, if he gets the contract, I will be keeping my eye on him inside the UFC. He could make some waves, along with, Jacobe Smith. If he can beat the Canadian, make it look dominant, make it look good, we might have to watch out for Jacobe Smith. David Martinez, Xavier Franklin, I have no clue what to expect on that one there. But Jacobe Smith, Alberto Montes, 2 guys that, if they get the contract, if they get the win, could make a good go in the UFC. Now I'm going to predict the main event of the evening. This fight was not supposed to be the main event. It now is. And it's funny, this is the only fight I don't see going the distance. No, this is the only fight I do see going the distance now. 2 guys at light heavyweight looking to throw leather. I can hardly pronounce their names. We got the Kazakhstan fighter and the Polish fighter. Now, I could try to pronounce the names. Probably not going to be very successful with that. 9-0 Kazakhstan fighter, training at Kill Cliff, looks powerful. He's technical. He has a good striking accuracy and volume. Has he been tested? He's 9-0. He has 2 decision wins. Sorta got tested, 19-14 opponent and 12-3 opponent. He was tested to an extent. He can pass the test. He can have a good gas tank to win the fight. His last fight 4 months ago had the knockout punch, showing his power against a 23-12 opponent. The Kazakhstan fighter, I gotta kind of trust in him to win. His shoulders are big and broad. He has power, accuracy, and he can push forward. I expect him to be not fairly durable, very durable. You're seeing knockout wins in the last 3 for the Polish fighter, who does train with Michael Oleszejczuk. I'm going to pull up a picture with this guy beside Michael Oleszejczuk and just show you the size difference. This guy is a big, big fighter. 6'4", Polish. He could get the knockout finish. But the guy he just knocked out with that body kick, he fought before and lost a split decision to him. The guy was 13-9. Level of competition, in my opinion, is lower for the Polish fighter. He knocked out a guy 11-7 a year ago and 4-0 11 months ago. I don't think his level of competition is that good. This is his toughest fight to date, and he's going to have problems. He lost a split decision less than 2 years ago. He had a majority draw to an 11-6 opponent just a year ago. I don't think we can trust a Polish fighter who could be a favorite. It could be 50-50. I'm not really sure what people are going to pick on this fight, but I know what I'm doing. I'm trusting in the Kazakhstan fighter, as I always do. There's a lot of Kazakhstan fighters that I will not pick against. And this guy here, undefeated, probably not a good idea to pick against him. I ain't going to do it. I won't do it. Training at Kill Cliff, bunch of big names there. I trust in him to show up and get this win. Has he been training with those big names? Not quite sure. He has fought the higher caliber competition, the Kazakhstan fighter. I'm going to trust him to win. Look at this guy. He looks like a very marketable fighter, as does the Polish fighter. Ain't gonna lie. Either fighter would be the right man for the job. Both are probably UFC caliber. Both can throw a punch. But at the end of the day, 8-2-1 doesn't impress me that much for the Polish fighter. It's a clear pick for me. 9-0 Kazakhstan fighter. I'm going to pronounce his name once and only once because it's very hard to pronounce. Actually, no, I'm not even going to embarrass myself. Not even going to attempt it. He wins it. 85% have him to win on Tapology too. If that steers you a certain way, you don't like the Fight Fiend's picks, Tapology agrees on this one. I'm not just going off Tapology, but looking at the tape study, looking at the Instagrams, looking at, yes, Tapology, I got to lock in and make my pick. Not going against the Kazakhstan fighters that I love to support. This is not the time I'm going against Kazakhstan. Hate to tell you. Undefeated fighter, I expect him to get the knockout. He knocked out a guy 23-12. He could even win a decision. Make this look pretty easy. He's going to have the more technical boxing, the better grappling in my opinion, good takedown defense. He beats him everywhere. The Kazakhstan fighter is ready to kill. Get a contract. Let's go. Week 8, Dana White Contender Series is going to be a blast. I mentioned some fighters that, if they get the contract, could look pretty good inside the UFC. This Kazakhstan fighter, add him to the list. Alberto Montes, Jacobe Smith, other credible prospects on this card. Not a bad week. Not horrible. But all what matters is the picks. The picks cannot be horrible. I think I went 1 for 5 on the picks last week. Not good. It's just to the point where it's hard to find motivation to do a video, to give my picks. But it's fun, it's entertaining, and I'm going to track and record everything I say in case I have a week that's just very good. Could sweep it. You never know. Likely not. We're just looking to get paid. Make 1 bet, 2 bets. I'll give you the bets on Instagram. I'll give you the bets on Telegram, Twitter. Just follow for free. Like the video. Subscribe now. Join Discord. Hit the link in the bio below if you want to see each and every bet for each and every sport. Patreon, $5 a month. Get after it. But just a reminder, don't tail each and every pick or bet that I'm giving out. I'm not going to hit each and every one. Like I said, last card, week 7, 1 for 5. That is not what I'm here to do. I'm here to get paid. So get on Instagram. You're going to see the bet, the fiends that I'll be betting. Get on Instagram. Get on Telegram. It's free. Discord, it's free. The bets are going to be out there pretty early. It's Sunday, only 10 o'clock on Sunday. The picks are out there early AF. So the bets will be too. Let's get after it. Everybody can see the bets for free this week. They should be up there by Monday. I got to see the face-offs and weigh-ins first before I put any money down on these motherfuckers. And thank you everybody for tuning in once again for another week. Week number 8 of Dana White's Contenders Series. You know I'll be back for week number 9 and week number 10, which those 2 weeks might be the best. So stay tuned. Stay subscribed. Don't go anywheres. We'll be back. Thanks everybody again for tuning in. I really could not do this without you. God damn it. If I do bad, it does not dismotivate me. I know it's very tough to predict fights. I know I've been caught slacking, caught taking some big favorites. Now I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to make a pick. And honestly, every pick won't be a bet. So hopefully you got some good information on this card. If you want to see the bets, you know what to do. Hit the link in the bio down below.
This is not over.